Episode 125, Joel Fleischman Happy Hour podcast. Aaron Sadoff is back.
Pew, 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 pew. Bring it on.
Guest from 119. We're now at 125, and he's back for more.
Welcome.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Here's looking up your address. Just seeing where you live. Nothing weird. Just saying hi. Maybe said you think, you know.
Soon to be the Aaron Sadoff podcast, apparently.
Pretty much, yeah.
I like to be just
And
a
then I'll be the
sidekick.
guest speaker.
Bring me on every once in a while. I'm like the mortgage. I'm only good once a month.
I have a feeling anyone that knows you would never call you. I like to just be the sidekick. I don't think that's not. I don't think.
Let me be your Robin. All right.
I don't think you're a Robin. I've said
You
that
guys
before.
would alone just having a weekly podcast. That would be really good. The two of you. I think you play off each other pretty
People
well.
have called me like Batman and Robin, and I'm always like, just to confirm, I'm always Batman. Like, that's not negotiable.
Let's not get this screwy. Well, Aaron's back to talk about Minecraft, his book that is now out. You can find it on Amazon, all over. He's got a couple copies here today. We're going to talk through some of the reviews, talk through the book a little bit, see how things are going, and just get a pulse update.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's
Give us an intro on Aaron in case you haven't seen 119.
Yep. So Aaron, longtime administrator, Fond du Lac School District,
North Fond du Lac.
North Fond du Lac.
Yep.
You were a teacher in Fond du Lac, though, too.
I
correct?
was. Yep.
Now president, Marian. You worked at the Fond du Lac Area Foundation for a while.
I did.
You were in the military.
I was a cavalry scout, hooah. First Gulf 4.
Went to UW.
Yep, Madison.
Equipment manager at Madison.
Washed your clothes. I want to think in 93 I got there, and they made the Rose Bowl in 94. I'm just saying. I'm just putting that out there.
And you said your daughter, I don't think we talked about this on here last time, but you said your daughter works in the athletic department right now?
She works for a company that helps support NIL.
Oh, okay.
And it's amazing. I mean, I talk to her every day. It's like building an airplane while you're flying.
Sure.
You know, so it's pretty intense. And then also, you know, that's what you bring it in. My favorite job is dad. I got a son over in Germany visiting his girlfriend, and I got another daughter graduating from Florida State in May.
Shout out to all them.
Yeah. So really, you don't have a lot going on.
No, they do. I get to be here. This is fun in Campbell Sport.
Yeah, so I guess starting off with the book, we talked about pulling up some of the reviews here. Right now, you got 13 reviews on Amazon.
Book just launched.
Book just launched, yeah, a couple weeks or a month ago.
Yeah, it came out on the 14th of February or the 12th, just a little earlier. And I had a book launch party. One of the cool things, if anybody's looking to write a book, my book was really taken in a different direction when I was called by this Eric Cloyster, who was a professor at Georgetown, and he talked about intellectual property. Those of you might have heard of somebody named Taylor Swift, possibly, or Chance the Rapper, and they really started something in the music industry where they found out, you know what, like when Taylor Swift wanted to use her music from like 1989, a movie, they said you can't. So she says, okay, I'll make my own version of that, and then she now produces everything herself and pays for it up front, so she owns intellectual property. So what I learned to do is if you look at any book, you'll see the copyright, and what's pretty exciting for me is my copyright, it says, copyright Aaron Sadoff 2024, all rights reserved. If you look at another one, there's going to be like Penguin, Random House, all this stuff.
And they own it. They own it. You
And
sign yourself sold to the devil.
yeah, so I paid up front, and the way I was able to pay the money up front to work with this manuscript team, which helped me, I mean, I had to upload all this stuff to Amazon, to KDP, working on an audiobook now, this thing called InstaSpark. It's out for Barnes & Noble. If I wanted it in a bookstore, they taught me how I do that. So I got all that help up first, and I had a party, and I had people, there was about over 200 and almost 300 people that invested $50 or more in me to help write this book. And we had a party at Marian on the 13th of February, and because of them, I get to own the rights here, and then we move forward.
What were the startup costs to get a book written?
So last year when I started this with manuscripts, it was $10,000. So that was a year and a half ago, and that was a class every week. I had editors, I had people help with designing the cover, storyboards, learned about how to write and all that. And then as I got towards the publishing side, that's where I rose another $15,000, and that helped with the original, you know, the type, the setting, all that stuff. So overall, up front, it was about $25,000. But through fundraising and the help from other people and that initial investment up front, now on Amazon, normally what you would do from like if I had Penguin or Random House, I would get 5% of 5 to 20% of the profit. So like if I sell a book on Amazon for $20, after Amazon takes its, $8, there's, or like $10, then there's $10 left. I would get like 5% of that $10. and then Penguin would get the other one.
Just think about that. Jeff Bezos still gets 50% of the revenue of your book.
Yep, quite right around there.
But an amazing business model. That guy just prints money. Let's stay focused. We're getting a little off track, but I just wanted to get that nugget in there.
But it's that platform. I mean, and that Amazon. A lot of people, when I go and do some presentations or talk, they don't realize that Amazon first started as books. That was it.
Right.
I'm such a Kindle lover. I had a Kindle, which is the Amazon book version, right? If you know that. I had a Kindle when Amazon only was on books. That's how old I am. That's how much I read, and that's how much I'm my e-reader.
Yeah.
So that's wild. I just forgot that, but I'm like, I had a Kindle when it only sold books. And I was like, oh, they got toothpaste on here. I'm like, that's weird. Thinking like that's not going to take off.
Yeah. And it's available at ebook on Amazon for Kindle too.
Yeah.
They have that version too. So this company helped me do all this, and the neat thing is, I was in cohort 24, and there was like 17, 20 other people writing. So as I was doing this a year and a half, 2 years ago, I would meet with people. One of the people that are in my cohort was a woman that had escaped from a cult that her husband was a leader of, and she was writing about that. I'm like, that's some heavy stuff.
Sounds way better than his book, honestly.
Yeah, oh yeah. I'm telling you what, that was the real there is something. But it was a journey, and there's a lot of times that I wanted to just be like, that imposter syndrome. You ever hear about that?
Yeah, I'm not a book writer. What am I doing, right? You just scare yourself to death.
Or I'm a president of a university. I mean, really?
Yeah.
Or even sometimes I'll be driving a car. I'm like, I trust all these other people, and I'm behind a vehicle going, 70.
Right.
It's that kind of like, that grounds you. But, it's a process. It's like anything else.
And how many days in 3 months ago we said it launched?
Yeah.
And how many books you got?
It's launched on
3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And how many books we got out?
Probably about 500.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
and sold mostly how at this point?
Sold mostly from me. I got
You're
the
one-on-one selling right now.
Yeah. So, but now that's done. So when I did the early sales,
ground level. So people would send me, $50 for a book, an autographed copy, or I had some people that I'm doing some presentations that I was fortunate enough to get $1,000 for like 15 books, 10 books. And what I would do is Missy's super nice down at the post office. So I would go down. At one time, I think one of my bills was like $450 for all these books that I was mailing out and these things. I learned about how to do all that and the right mailing, and that there's a different price for mailing media. I feel really blessed to have gone through that process and to be able to have this memoir, if you were, and also this information that's helped me be who I am. What was your first print? How many did you print?
First print was 200. And so far right now I have done that 2 times. So I've ordered 600 for myself that I've distributed locally and stuff. And now Amazon, what's so cool is on Amazon, I always dreamed about getting mailbox money. Mm-hmm. Like money coming in from all these different
just randomly with a check.
Now and I'm going to call it deposit money because I can see, I think on
Publisher's Warehouse.
That's right. That's right.
Just comes in.
So I have 2 different sources. Amazon, I will see how many I've sold, and I think I've sold maybe 75 to 80 on Amazon so far. Yeah. And then there's another one, InstaSpark, and that's where, like, if you buy from Barnes & Noble online or something, it comes from there, and I get another set of revenue.
When you say 75, all Kindle buys is what you're saying?
No.
Books that you shipped out.
No, I shipped out probably about 320.
No, but you shipped out through Amazon. Do you ship them out from Amazon?
No, they do it. So right now,
so you send them 100?
So right now, when you go there,
yeah,
they print them at one time. So if you go to Amazon and you go and you order
one at a time,
they're on demand. So if you go on, this is another thing. So if you go up here and you hit right there, right, and you hit on paperback, buy one copy. Yeah. What they're going to do in stock, they'll print it. Now they have a different mechanism where if they see them,
does Quad Graphics do that here locally?
They have. I'm sure they have their own house. But what's so great is I had somebody saying, Aaron, I got the last hardcover. They said there's only 2 left. There's unlimited number, but it's just a kind of. I think what they do is they gauge
it.
Yeah, and another thing which is cool. So if everybody after this podcast wants to go out and buy a paperback, or I might be running a special on the ebook coming. There's another thing that you need to do is that you pick
coupon code.
Coming? Yeah, oh yeah.
Listen to Wait till the end. Wait till the end. Click down below and subscribe. We'll send you the coupon code.
Hey, look out for the Drexel Podcast website. Happy hour. You're going to get coupon code.
But Drexel 1076. Supply happiness.
Niner. Did he just say Niner? Yeah. So what happens too is when you upload your book, you only can pick 3 categories. So like I have like business, development, leadership. Positive those, and what you do is you try to pick the categories.
Logarithm to try to hit something.
Right, and like so to be a bestseller. So like I think one of mine is like self-help, psychology, personal growth. So if I can sell 85 books in one day, I'll be the best seller in that category. And once I hit it once, I can always say I was a bestseller.
Sure.
So there's strategy that goes on.
Because you're going to hit a podcast like ours and say, go buy today.
Yeah, go buy today.
Pump it up once.
Yeah, yeah. So, and then, when I start dropping that,
so go buy it today.
Buy today, today, now, Minecraft.
Yeah. I got a $20 side bet with Aaron, then we can get to number one.
Yeah.
The power of Joel Fleischman Happy Hour podcast. Let's make it work, people. Let's
do it. Let's pump it up.
A little Joe Rogan-ish,
Yeah. No, but it's...
It'd be more like Tim Ferriss. He's like, just...
Tim Ferriss, yeah.
Yeah, sold out in like 7 seconds.
Yeah.
The second he announced tuna steaks or something.
Right.
Tim Ferriss is crazy.
Who was Tim Ferriss?
Very much a mindset guy, podcast guy. He was the Joe Rogan
4-hour work week, right?
4-hour work week, 4-hour body. He was honestly, he was like the Joe Rogan before Joe Rogan.
Gotcha.
Really cool guy. He's very much into like mushrooms, psychedelics, business. But he actually wrote the Tools of the Titans, right?
Tools of the Titans as well. Yep.
Tools of the Titans is one of my favorites, which you would love.
Okay.
Tools of the Titans and the Tribes of Mentors. So how he didn't actually hit with 4-hour body or 4-hour work week. That came out, I think, later. How he hit was he decided like when he was 18, he was going to interview the top 500 people or something like that within any industry. Arnold Schwarzenegger, the best bodybuilder, the best president of the United States, the best CEO. And he actually broke through to a lot of them and interviewed them. And then the Tools of the Titans was that he tried to weave in the commonalities of their lives, which were some of them are wild, such as waking up early or what they ate for lunch. It's not always like mindset, or it was like and he never really commented on it. He's just like, here's a trait of the 500 people I interviewed,
like ice baths and all that stuff. Right?
Yeah, like a bunch of these people do that, not knowing the other people do it. And they all are wildly successful, so you can kind of piece it together. It's a huge, thick book, but I would highly recommend that book.
Yeah.
So anyways, he started a podcast because he interviewed them all. And man, they're wildly successful. Similar to TED Talks, they go kind of deep, but kind of like he really was Joe Rogan before Joe Rogan. I think he fell off a bit because I think he makes a lot of money now.
Yeah.
And he's always been a 4-hour work week guy, and he loves to travel. So I think he's investing a little more.
So
into
he's
himself.
living what he says.
He does.
He's got an interesting newsletter too. Like he'll put stuff out there again that like just
free content.
Free content, stuff that you can buy that might be on Amazon, but no one's ever heard of.
Yep.
Like, hey, I'm trying this now, and just all this stuff.
Like a pen. He'll be like, this is the world's best pen I ever saw. I didn't get paid for it.
Oh, by the way, you're getting both of those.
Thank you.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, yeah. It looks like a nice pen.
Oh, it's the best.
He's like, I just love, it's similar to that. He's like, I just love these pens. And then the website would crash. They'd sell out because everybody just got to trust what he researched for.
Gotcha.
Kind of a foodie.
For sure.
But I saw a 4-hour chef too.
Yeah, but he really struggles with depression a lot and stuff. So he's an interesting guy because he's not, he's like, sometimes he gets pretty dark on himself. Like, dude, I struggle with this stuff, so it's good. I'm glad I had you on.
Yeah, you bring that up. It's I've learned in my life, we only have so much. Like our pie's only so big, and you can't. Once you get to that, success is a drug. Relationships are drugs. All those things, and you keep going after and after and after, and pretty soon, anything of one way, there's a give and take. We were talking about
less is more. Yeah, less is always more.
You're just talking about like how much time we spent like when our babies were born, and how that goes, and how our life is, and it's something where you get older and you learn, and it's that wisdom part. It's as you get older, you start figuring things out, and sometimes it goes in the backside where you get all this way and you have all this fame, or you do stuff, and you're like, I kind of forgot about that.
I want to ask you a question, unrelated to the book. I wanted to ask all book questions. I even look at this. I even used ChatGPT, little AI, actually Gemini, Google, but most people use ChatGPT. It's a sheet. I have a complete sheet of questions, and I literally said, Aaron Sadoff, Minecraft, having him on my podcast, please write questions related to his book. 4 seconds, and they're actually great questions. I'm not getting to them right now.
I'll come back in a little bit. A couple months down the road.
It's going to be a 4-hour podcast. So my question for you was, what do you, and I'll give you a couple of my nuggets. What do you do to unwind? You are as wound, God made you as wound tight as me in a good way, right? We embrace that. We've learned to embrace that. We are a source of energy. We talked about that before the podcast. I think we are I think Marcus would agree, right? Just being in the room with us is like, we're coming. Yep. Is that fair?
Yep, for sure.
Like, we're just this energy source. But the energy source wears out. Like, we like the body, souls, I believe souls are an energy source, and souls live forever. I can go on for souls forever. One of the reasons one of the main reasons I believe so strongly in God is that who you are never changes, which thus means it must be a soul, which thus means there must be eternity, which thus means there must be a God, and there must be a heaven. Think about it, like we're all in our minds. I've never met somebody in my mind that says, I'm fundamentally different than when I was 18. I've met 80-year-olds, I've asked my question, 70-year-olds, 60. You never change. So thus, the body changes, it breaks down, it dies. But whoever you are is who you are. If that wasn't true, if we were just genetic beings, if we were just evolvers, our souls would be deep and compressing, we'd be different people. We're exactly the same, right? So I'll go back to my question. How do you decompress this energy force soul that you have? What things have you done? And I'm sure with the wisdom, I didn't do it in my 20s and 30s. I didn't know maybe I didn't need to decompress as much. I did. I wish I would have did it more because I operate better when I am decompressed. So what things do you do to decompress? And for me in my 20s and 30s, a lot of times it really was, I wasn't heavy on the bottle or alcohol, but I love to be social. I love the party. I love to be the
connector.
The connector. I love to be the clown, and alcohol helped all that. Yeah. But it also helped decompress. I wasn't like a Tuesday night 6-beer guy, but I was like, if you want to go out to eat and drink, we'll have some beers and that. Yeah. Sure, it helped me. Yeah. But what do you do to decompress?
I guess I don't. How can I say this? I don't my life has been such a way that being in education that I was, and then in philanthropy. I mean, what I've been able to do in my life is help people, right?
You're a people helper. But that will, being a giver will wear you out.
Yeah. So I really I love yard work. I mean, I love yard work.
No music.
Oh, I'm putting the music.
So you got Bluetooth speakers outside?
Yeah, in my ears. I'll tell you what, Post Malone. Yeah. When he went country, I mean, I'm all over that. I didn't even know. There's not a bad song.
I like Zach Bryan, too.
Oh, there's not. And I used to not like country, but now I'll listen to that all the time.
I don't like country, but you know what? I love these new guys. Oh. I love Post Malone. I love Zach Bryan. Yeah. Now, Noah Khan would be a crossover, not exactly Zach Bryan. I love these dudes. Yeah. They're good. Yeah. They're soulful.
Yeah.
What's wrong with Johnny Cash?
Yeah. Well, hey, baby. Down.
Yeah. I mean, I love Johnny Cash. I used to listen to that a lot. But a lot of that twangy 90s stuff, I just didn't connect with a lot of the green farm truck stuff. But these new guys are different. They're cool. They're cool. I love them.
So I like yard work. So
yard work helps you. You focus. You relax.
You get to see completion. Yeah. Like when I cut the lawn, it's done. Yeah. Like this Sunday, I went out, I cleaned the garage. It was done. Like after 3 hours, I sat back and I finished something. So many times in life, even with kids, relationships, jobs, there's never that closure end. I love doing things where I sit down and it's over.
Do you know what's fun
That's kind of about you with cleaning out the pantry.
Yeah, correct. Well, it goes back to Mother Teresa for me. I try to honor God by doing that as well. And I've just learned that maybe in the last 5, 10 years, maybe 3 years. Slow and intentional. I'm such a squirrel with a nut. I'm so doing 12 things at once, and that's fun too. Sometimes I'm like, if a neighbor is watching me on a Saturday morning, they must think I'm absolutely bad. I got a lawnmower out. I got the saw out. I'm shooting rebounding hoops. I got Bluetooth on. I half swept the garage, and I got a load of laundry. And I went back and forth to the hardware store 4 times. If the neighbor sees me, I'm crazy. But when I'm at my very best, like you, yes, the completion's great, but it's the slow and intentionality of, I'm going to perfectly clean my garage for no other reason to honor God, relax my brain, because that's important. Remember, at that moment, that's all you have. Mm-hmm. So if you're washing the dishes, you can honor God that way by saying, in this moment, I can feel my fingers, I can feel the hot water, I can clean it very, very well and complete it. Keep going.
No, I was going to say, we got to switch the script sometime, Marcus, and find out your journey, because we were talking earlier about faith and you had asked me, and I really thought that was cool how you asked me about my faith and stuff. I'm guessing you haven't always been able to articulate and say what you are and 100%. How things are as time. Yeah. And that in itself is a journey of, why did that happen? When did that happen? And I just said that to somebody this week.
I said, part of the getting old is actually, for me, it has been a self journey of seeing who I am. I think now that I'm in my 50s, I can kind of see who I am. Mm-hmm. which I've never been able to like see myself before, if that makes sense, right? You don't really see yourself.
Yep.
And later in life, I feel like I'm seeing myself, my strengths, my weaknesses, how I interact with other people. Keep going. So
No, I'm way beyond you guys, but I think last time I brought up From Strength to Strength by Arthur as age. That's it. I'm way beyond you guys as age. I'm 53.
Oh, I'm 51.
Oh, I'm so far beyond you. You're 2 years younger,
months.
right?
Yes. You're much closer to the
So did I tell you about Strength to Strength by Arthur Brooks last time?
I do not.
We watched the video with the guy who worked in California as the...
No, that was a BART agent.
No,
so,
I don't think we did.
No, Strength to Strength. You'd love this book. What it is Arthur Brooks. He's an amazing guy. He actually was a professional, world-renowned French horn player. It's only musical instruments that you use your fist, right?
Sounds like a great book so
Yeah.
far. French horn players.
Yeah, but
Super.
and he's take whatever. But so Arthur Brooks, what he writes about is he writes about
it's not
how
about
you
the French horn.
No, but it's important. The French horn's very important.
All right,
I mean, think about how do you play that? It's the hardest one, right? You play with your hand. I don't get it.
The hardest one?
It is.
It's the hardest one.
Yeah, but I don't even know if it was invented in France.
Accordion seems really hard.
Oh, how fun is that? So with the
There's
bagpipes,
a lot going on there.
man, maybe that's what we should get, a bagpipe and accordion band going. You don't see that much anymore with the French horn. Yeah. Anyways, I digress. So what the book is about going from fluid intelligence to crystallized intelligence. And what happens is when you're younger, if you look at all the people that are great at, like the great musicians or the great athletes or the great entrepreneurs and all that, a lot of them are under the age of 35. Is when they did a lot of their great work, right? Mm-hmm. So you move from more of a fluid where your brain is moving and growing to more of a crystallized, where you become more of a library, where all of a sudden you work on wisdom. But yet we fight so hard to stay that serial entrepreneur, that serial person working all the time, and we lose that ability that some younger people have to do some of these things that are just cognitively no longer in our wheelhouse. But we have wisdom, because we have experience. So then it's how do you go from being that serial, get things done, going like you are a perfect example of somebody who can't slow down, that is just going to go, go, go. Look at what you built at Drexel, not just here, but in your life and all over the place. You're always doing something. How then when you start to see some of the younger people or some new people like, I never thought of that. Now that person just thought of something that I should have thought about first. It's how do you then jump over that crystallized intelligence and then really embrace that. And that's what the whole book is about, and it's it really. I actually in my book I talk about it also when he quotes Tolstoy and what he said. Like I always use.
If anyone quotes Tolstoy, it just means they're smart.
Yeah.
I should start doing that.
So if I quote a guy who quotes it, that's not bad.
I think you're close.
Correct.
Closer than me.
I'm like one removed.
I'm quoting Bob Uecker at this point.
There we go. And hey, got
R.I.P.
Right there. Hashtag bless Bob Uecker. Right.
You want to make some money this summer? Get some Euchre shirts, get some Euchre slangs that aren't copyrighted. You're going to make some money.
Oh yeah. So
not take advantage of a guy dying. I'm just saying how the world works.
Right, and then give back to his family and to his foundation.
His family's
right?
fine, but maybe foundation.
Yeah, there we go. So what Tulsa, you grow up, and I would always think to myself, no regrets. Don't have any regrets. I'm going to live my life without regrets. I'm going to be me, right? And then he said what Tolstoy said is he goes, live your life without regrets is one thing, but when somebody dies, you can no longer do any good to them nor take any bad away. I suggest that we live our life so when anybody dies, we don't have regrets. You might miss them, you might feel bad, and when I read that, I'm like, who do I need to contact? Who have I not spent enough time with? And I think about that more and more, and this goes back to your question about how I unwind. I love hearing about people's stories because then I'm off, and then I get to hear about their journey. And as I'm listening and I'm present, then all of a sudden I start growing without having to do anything but listen.
So what does that mean? A podcast? Does that mean you're reading? Does that mean you're going out to a bar every night? Does that mean you're going to the library?
This is right here.
This is it.
This is it. Having conversations with people.
You try to find as many conversations as you can.
And then at home, like I'm a Ted Lasso guy, right? I just watched this new one.
So you'll binge Netflix, but based on connections.
Yeah, so like there was...
I love Ted Lasso. Oh. I just told my family I could watch the whole series again, although the second and third series got way too sexual, way too DEI stuff. Like, they kind of lost me for that. And then the last season, they brought it back.
Yeah.
But there's about 10 episodes where it's like, this is getting a little too sexual, a little too fruitcakey for no reason. It seems like the plots kind of went off.
Yeah.
Like they tried too hard, whatever that means.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
But the whole series itself, genius.
Yeah, it's probably the only show that I can watch with my kids without us getting upset. I mean, I can't watch Grey's Anatomy with my daughter; it gets too weird, But Ted Lasso, we can all watch, and they made a sign "Believe." I hit it right when I go out my office.
Wow. No way!
Oh, yeah.
Oh wow!
Oh yeah, yeah. And that got turned on to me. I just had lunch with him. If you ever want to interview an interesting guy, Ted Neitzke. He's a CEO up at CISA 6. And he wrote a book. It's a neat story too. It's about Buffalo, and his whole thing is about Buffalo going into the storm. You've heard that.
Yeah, we did that last podcast.
Yeah.
We talked about that.
Yeah. So he has.
I love that about the Buffalo. You see a poster once in a while with that snowy Buffalo.
Yep.
Just facing the storm, walking right through that bastard.
Oh yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, because you'll get through it. Where the cows, they go the other way, right?
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. So he has. He just wrote a book, a children's book, and the neatest thing about that is, he had ran into in a leadership class he was teaching to a high school girl in Waupun, and she illustrated it for him. Yeah. So it's really.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's a nice thing.
Yeah.
That's a nice gesture.
I'll get you his information. He'd be a really good person to
So let me get back to the book and give you some kudos. And again, please go buy it. This is going to be a Joel thing here, and you're going to sound like a salesman. Okay, I just read the book. Okay, a little bit about Joel reading a book. Wait, let's go back to how Joel unwinds. So think a little bit about Joel.
Yeah.
Right?
Hold on. Hey, Joel, you just asked me how I unwind. Could we hear how you unwind?
There it is. Edit that all. Or don't, but in theory. Right? So right now I'm actually doing, every winter I try to do a puzzle. And right now I am actually doing a Lego set. Who is going off? It feels like me, but... Oh! I'm setting my phone... Okay.
Which is perfect. You're asking how he's unwinding and the phone's ringing.
No, I wasn't ringing. I actually have tile. I use a tile, which is how to find things. But if you squeeze it really hard, then the tile goes off. So I can find my wallet through my phone. It's like an Apple. It's like an Apple AirPlay thingy.
Yep.
That would mean two things that I'd lose right away.
Yeah. But it's through your phone. So Legos. I usually try to do a puzzle in the winter, just to relax my brain and force me to do a puzzle.
Yeah.
And I actually pivoted to a Lego set, a very detailed.
They're amazing.
2,500 piece Lego set with lighting, with a tweezer. So think of how little detail oriented I am, and how I like to jump to the conclusion. Kind of visionary. It forces me to go step by step, slowly, intentionally, build off the foundation. It's 2,500 pieces. It's mind-boggling. And then looking back, how dumb I was as a youth, strength to strength, the things from youth that you can't apply. How I can see you didn't know your personality back then, how self-aware I am now. Where I was I hated Legos because I would look at it and be oh, I can do this, and I would just kind of make assumptions like I do at work and build it, and also be 14 pages in and being okay, where's the green piece? Oh, I could use that one. Well, I'll use the yellow piece. No, that piece won't work either. I'm Or I'll be I think they built then kind of like I do at work. I think they built the whole thing wrong. I think it's actually they should have did that different, right? And I'm
it's Lego's fault.
So all of a sudden you're in Scandinavia saying, "Hey, you messed this up."
Yeah, I don't think this sequence actually works, and you sent me the wrong pieces. I want to email them, right? Yeah. When I was 6, no emails, but and then now looking back, it's well, Joel, you didn't actually follow the steps,
It's when I listen to songs and I'm singing my lyrics and they're different. I'm why are you guys messing it up? My lyrics are right. Bon Jovi's singing it wrong.
Amen. So, okay, back to the book, and I'm going to give some sincere kudos here. So if you ever listen to my podcast at all or know anything about me, you know I have an English degree and I am a big reader. I'm constantly reading. It's obviously one way that I decompress. And I read so many faith, spiritual, leadership books. I can go on and on for that. As most of you already know, I read Minecraft. It's a very simple read. First of all, if you're a non-reader, it's meant for you. It's very similar in style to any John Gordon book. If you've read The Energy Bus, one of my favorite authors, just very simple read, but very awesome. Very similar to that. I can't recommend it enough. And I am giving you a sincere review on that. He has got these simple stories that resonate, also some humor in there. If you're from the Midwest or Wisconsin, there's also real life stuff, which probably geeked me out, honestly. Okay, there's a little North Fond du Lac reference. There's oh, I know Aaron, it's so cool. But even if you don't connect with that, there are so many tips and tricks. You're going to leave with a better mindset. You're going to leave with to-dos, action plans, how to do things. I would put it, man, oh man, okay, I'm going to be One bite.
Is this a Dan Portnoy?
This is a Portnoy book review.
Pizza review.
It's Portnoy, like I'm going to put it at, right, so I review a lot of food. My kids and I review food all the time. What's the best fish fry? One of the top fish fries in the area is Honeycore, by the way. It's like an 8.3. It's like a good
at the golf course.
Fry. Yeah, Kewaskum Golf Course. I give the perch, I give it like 8.3.
Really?
One of the best around, yeah. Pizza is always tough, but man.
Now, you've always said that fish fry, it's just, you get a couple different brands. It's really all the same.
But the breading's big, though.
Well, but 90% of all fish fries, because they're pre-breaded from Cisco or Reinhardt, and Cisco offers 3 different fish breadings, and Reinhardt offers 3. So 90% of all restaurants you go for are 6 fish fries. It's all about the environment, the positivity, the energy in the room, how they decorate. That's why you love the fish fry. It has nothing to do with the fish fry. There's 6 fish fries in Wisconsin. Some people do self-bread. So kudos to them that do. Very few actually.
Do they self-bread at Honeycore?
I do not know. I don't want to ask. I don't want to know what's behind the magic curtain. For me, it's the environment.
You don't want to know the sausage.
No, I do not. In that case, I don't. But they don't have like some secret, beer battered hams, beer battered fish fry or anything like crazy exclusive.
I just pictured going down a beer and an inner tube. The refreshing hams, beery. Where is that golden retriever to get us a beer? Alex from Stroh's.
Yeah, wow, that's going crazy. Okay, let's go back to the book. He's like trying me not to have to review the book, I can tell.
No,
so 1 to 10. So again, 1 to 10, if you don't know how I review things, 1 means, and I encourage you to review things this way, 1 is the worst you're ever going to have, right? 10 is the absolute best you're ever going to have. You're never going to have a better apple pie. So be careful. So my son's 15, very analytical. Shout out to my son, Marcus. Extremely analytical. He does not rate anything over 7. He's like, I'm 15. He's like, how can I give anything over 7? I got my whole life to live. Like, if I give it an 8, fair. I'm like, that's fair. I'm like, I'm 50. I got to start giving out like 9.5s. Like, I might be at my cusp of greatness for apple pie. Like, this is a 9.5. He's like,
can you go back and redo it?
No, that's it.
Once
that's your
rating. That's it. Okay.
Well, that's why it's so important. Like, you got to nail this rating. Like, how is this pizza? And so we'll do that almost every time we go out to eat. I'm like, rate the wings, bro. And he's like, bone in. And again, and my son is so analytical, right? And my daughters and other sons, boys play along. Mark Jackson and Macy play along too. But he's like a 5 for him is good. He's like, it's average. He's like, there's nothing wrong with a 5. It's like darn good 2-year-old, right? Nothing wrong with a 5. Because you say a 5 and you're like, dude, a 5, what's wrong? It's like, I just don't throw out like 8.5s. Like that's 85. But I'm almost like, so of the 100 books I read, where would this rank? Yeah, I'm giving it like 8.6. Like, it's high. That's like amazing. Like, I would not give many books an 8.6, bro.
I want to find a mic to drop. I'm going to put, you know what?
Stamp it. Yeah, ding it out.
I can't wait till that review is on Amazon.
Right?
Woohoo!
No, I can't wait till we get bestseller here. I mean, go buy the book.
Let's get her going.
Go research it. If you have a team, buy 10 copies.
So here's another thing, too.
25% of all the proceeds go to the Marian Scholarship Fund. No, I just made that up.
Yeah.
This
you know what? We get
only,
to that
this
point.
Episode
we'll
only.
get there.
Yeah, we'll get there.
We'll get there.
Not your book's proceeds, but
someday, you know.
Book might trickle into somebody's funds.
Let me show you something here, too. So on Amazon, where you see verified purchaser, that means they bought it through Amazon, right? So you don't see verified.
Name. So Bobby Lunda would be your brother, your neighbor.
So Bobby bought it. Well, he bought it when I did my original, like because I emailed or I sent out books to California.
But you're saying you know all these people by name, right?
I don't know all of them. No. I don't know, like Picky,
I think he's making
MC.
it. I think he's
but I know Bobby Lunda.
Picky
Here's my thing. Picky gave you a 5, so that must mean...
Yeah, he's got all 5s. I think Picky is Aaron. I think he's just making this up. I think he's like...
Is that a burner account? Holy cow.
Like 7 burners.
My kids, if they're listening, they're going to be like, Dad has no idea how to do a burner account. Now he's done all those. Cool.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah. No, it's fun. And so, I mean, this is what I love about the book, and you hit one of the things on the head, Joel, is I wrote it purposely at an 8th grade, 9th grade level. That was purposeful because I wanted to be accessible, right? And I wanted it that some people could enjoy. And I also wanted something that's timeless. You know, it's not, and people could relate to it. So my favorite, I would say my favorite part of the whole book is the back, the acknowledgments and gratitudes. And so I was told, you know, you don't want to do a whole bunch because you might forget somebody. This sucker is like all through it. Because if it wasn't for the people, and this goes back to how I unwind, I just love talking to people. And it's the people who have given me the opportunity to have the book. And to be an 8.6, I wasn't going to go party tonight, but I guess my plans just changed.
I mean, we've got 125 episodes. I've been a part since at least like 48 or 50, and we've never had a rating on here of anything. that I've been a part of. And so an 8.6 sets the bar for whether it's food, books, whatever. So, I mean...
I won't disappoint you. I'm going to keep
that
going.
Deserves another...
Yeah, I honestly think it's going to be... I mean, it's a big deal. It's a big thing. I mean, I remember we were trying to get John Gordon to our Grand Expo. I just talked to his advisor, or one of his salespeople, however you want to say it, today. I just said, hey, let's have him at the Grand Expo. He's such a great speaker, such a great dude.
He's
and then
amazing.
we offer builder classes throughout the day for our expo. So they need builder credits, and we're actually make one of his positive leadership classes into a builder credit.
Sweet.
Really cool, six-figure guy. I saw him 20 years ago. I'm like, I should have did a 10-year contract. I think I'm feeling the same thing about Aaron, that in 10 years, when you're 65, 66, we're like, remember that pod where we had Aaron on? He was nobody. He sold 25 books, and this thing's like bestseller. Yeah. I think you're at the cusp of that, man. I really do. Congratulations on your book. It's so cool.
Appreciate it,
Go
man.
read it. Where are we
awesome.
at for time?
We're over. I just got over 35 right now.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I got one last question, though.
Yeah.
Knowing what you know now, would you write another one? In terms of the whole process, not necessarily the topic
Is it like getting a tattoo? Is it like you write a book and you want to get another one out? It feels like it's a tattoo. Like if people.
I mean, now that you know
more.
the whole process, right?
I know
Because I'm
very
assuming
few
that
people
class lives on forever in terms of what you want to do.
I feel like no one's ever like wrote one and then just mic dropped and never came back.
Right.
I mean, unless it's an autobiography or something.
Yeah.
So I think I've never ran a marathon, nor will that ever happen. Okay, but it's that whole ever, yeah. So that whole imposter syndrome. Once you get to this end point, and I didn't really know how it would all go. I didn't know if I had the stamina to do it and all that. And all that I've accomplished, it's like riding a bike. I don't know. What I'm excited about is I'd love for the next book to be something about how a group of people, when they look at Marian University and they're like, how the heck did that happen? I could say, because of these wonderful people.
What's the title of the next book?
The Saber Century Awaits. I don't know. I'm not sure, but I'll tell you what.
I don't. It's coming together.
This is the Aaron and
it's
Joel
coming
book.
together.
Yeah. Aaron and Joel book.
Yeah. No, there is a. What I can tell you is, 53 years old. I really started in all earnest when I was 51 at this, and there's never a time better than right now to try something different. I wrote about 135,000 words. There's 35,000 in this book, and it's amazing the amount of red ink and do better, the turning back of stories, the process of it. I learned from Carol, one of my editors. She said from Stephen King, Aaron, sometimes you got to kill your darlings. I'm like, what do you mean? Carol was from Texas, and she scared me, but she did a really good job getting me going. She goes, some of the stories that you think are the best and the most important thing, they just don't fit here.
Yeah, or use them in a different book.
Yeah, and Stephen King used to say you got to kill your darling. There's probably like 3 or 4 stories in here that, I'll share at some other time. But once you get out of your way, what I've realized too is authors don't write great books. Editors help authors get their stories out, and it's a team. And at Manuscripts, I had that great experience, and now understanding how that works. And I hope more people take a risk and do this, because there's a story in everybody. It's just a matter of figuring out how you can get to resonate. And I'll end with this. As an author, I never thought of myself as an author, but I am not a farmer, right? But I go to the grocery store like anybody else. I buy the same food and all that. I put it together. This is just a lot of the things you'll read in all your other books, but in a different way that maybe people like to eat it this way, and maybe it resonates with them. And you had said that kind of Midwest flair or kind of the humor that's in there. That's all it is. It's that your voice will resonate. Somebody might have heard a story over and over. You tell them that story, they're like, that makes sense to me.
I'm telling you, there's universal stuff in there, though. There's nuggets you're going to find in there that you're going to love. So, 8-6. Peace out. Thanks for coming on, buddy. We're going to wrap it up.
Cheers.
Love you, man. We'll see you again.
Love you too. Appreciate it. Let's
try to have him on before he charges to come on, okay?
Oh, you didn't get the bill?
Oh, jeez.